I'm going to try to make a hyper-realistic cake of an accessory that I can wear. And then I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna wear a cake today. I hope it doesn't fall apart or melt. I do run warm. You think I'm gonna be able to pull it off?
We're about to find out.
My name is Natalie Sideserf and I make cakes that don't look like cakes. And today I'm going to make a cake of a friendship bracelet I can wear. I'm making a friendship bracelet, so I gotta make beads. There's so many different kinds of beads. This is gonna be so fun. The first beads I wanna make are fun shapes. We got some hearts, we got some stars, we got the ball one with all the different sides on it, so it's all like shiny and stuff. I don't know what it's called. I gotta make a lot of beads, so I am making a mold of each bead. All right, I got quite a few here. Just gotta let the mold set. And we're back. The molds are firm, let's pop out the beads. These are tiny, okay. Yeah, pop them out of there, get them out. For the heart beads, I wanna make them translucent, so I'm mixing up some blue gelatin. I'm filling a syringe full of the gelatin, and I'm squeezing it into each of the molds. This takes a little finesse. I don't wanna overfill it, I don't wanna underfill it. I gotta take my time. For the circle beads, I'm using orange gelatin. For the star beads, I want to switch it up a little. So my stars are going to be made of pink chocolate. I let the gelatin and the chocolate set, so now I just got to pop them all out of the molds. Ooh, the first one looks good. It really does look like a clear bead. Let's start taking more out. Okay, all right. They look good. The only thing is I'm popping all these beads out and it's kind of difficult. It was kind of taking a while. By the time I fill the molds, let them set, pop them out of the mold, I ended up with 11 beads. 11! And it took me about 20 minutes. 20 minutes for 11 beads. I don't know if this is gonna work. My plan is to make hundreds of beads. That means it's gonna take me like 8 hours to make a few hundred beads. I don't know if this is a good idea. There's gotta be a better way. I live near a cake shop that sells a ridiculous amount of sprinkles. Look at this. This entire wall is full of sprinkles. There's so many. So many colors and different shapes. Some of these have to pass as beads, right? So let's see. Ooh, a star sprinkle. These sprinkles definitely look like beads. I also see this black rose sprinkle, and honestly, it looks more like a bead than a sprinkle. Like, I would not guess that these were edible. You know we gotta get some metallics in there. Gotta get something silver. You know I gotta get the neon green. It's Sideserf cake green. Come on with me, let's go. And I found some hearts. Hearts are a very popular bead shape. We gotta get them. All right, we got a ton of sprinkles that look so good together. They totally look like beads. My plan is to poke holes in the sprinkles and then thread them on a string and wear them. But I also want to place them in a bead box. An edible bead box. Let's make a bead box. When I think of a bead box, I think of one of those clear containers with like little sections, and each section is where you put your beads. It keeps all the beads nice and organized. So I'm gonna try to make that. Here I have a translucent pink gelatin sheet. That's right, this is edible. I'm folding the sheets into the shape of a box, kind of like origami style. I don't know what this looks like to you, but these gelatin sheets are fragile. If I fold it too hard, they actually start to like crack and break apart. But I really want this to work because I feel like this is my only option and it's gonna look really cool, so I'm trying my best. This box is going to house my sprinkles, but also the cake. So I need this to work. All right, it's coming together. We kind of got the shape going. And of course it cracked. A little bit of it cracked. There's not really a way I can fix this, so I'm just gonna have to be really, really careful. Now you can tell that this is gelatin because look how bendy it is. Just like all edible stuff, it's sensitive to the temperature of the room. So if I put this thing in the fridge, it's gonna be really hard and brittle, but at room temperature, it's a little bit more soft and wiggly. And since this box is going to be at room temperature, I need to add a little structure. I want it to feel a little bit more secure. So I'm thinking raw pasta. I'm painting the raw spaghetti a light pink to match the box, and I'm placing it along the top edge with some water. I'm hoping that this makes the box more stable. I need it to be secure. Now let's go back to the beads. While I was at the sprinkle wall, there was a specific shaped sprinkle that I was hoping to find, but I didn't see it. So I'm gonna make it. I don't have to use a mold for this, so I'm thinking I can pull off quite a few of these things. I think this is my favorite type of bead. I really like the way they look when they're all stacked. You'll see. So I rolled out fondant in a very beautiful color palette, nice and bright. And I'm using this round piping tip to cut out a bunch of tiny circles. These are the beads in that disc shape. They're flat and round. They're the ones I like. They're the ones I like. I'm glad I'm making these. I'm using an even smaller piping tip to punch out itty bitty circles inside the little circles.
A little tiny circle.
Inside a little, slightly larger circle.
But everything is really small here. Out of all the edible stuff I can use to make these beads, I think that fondant is the best option. Because fondant doesn't melt as easily as a lot of other edible materials. Don't forget, I'm gonna wear this bracelet, and my skin is warm. So if I made the beads out of something like chocolate, it would totally melt. I mean, I don't need this edible friendship bracelet to last forever. Well, that was sad. It sounds like a friendship ending. But I want it to last a little while. I'm so happy I'm taking the time to make each of these beads. The colors are so good, I love it. They really look like beads. Now let's go back to the sprinkle beads. So now my plan is to poke holes into each of the sprinkle beads because I gotta use them to make a bracelet, like a real edible bracelet. Let's just stab them and poke a hole in there. All right, well that's not working. Gotta try something else. I'll just clamp it down, slippery sucker. In half. Look at this thing. It's like a mini jawbreaker. I'm starting to realize I'm not gonna be able to poke holes in these sprinkles. Do you wear clothes or know someone who does? Well, get yourself some more by heading over to sideserfcakes.com. That's where you can get some Sideserf Cake Studio clothes. Like this shirt of Paige, the cake notebook. I just got this apron in.
And I love it.
I also got a shirt of Bob the Boba, Larry the Onion. And all designs come in kid and adult sizes. But not just t-shirts, there's all kinds of stuff. I'll put a link below so you don't get lost on your way to the store. And now back to the cake. If I can't poke holes in any of these sprinkles, then I can't use them to make a wearable bracelet. And that's the whole idea. I want to wear it. I want to wear I'm just gonna have to hand make more beads. What I know for sure is making a mold of each individual bead takes way too long. But cutting out those flat beads by hand worked. So I need a bead design that's a little more crafty, a little more handmade. I'm gonna try to make clay beads. I think I might be able to do this. Look at all the options. We've got smiley faces and stars and fruits, whatever this is.
Bruh.
I have an extruder, which should be helpful for this. So what I'm gonna try to do is make what is called a clay cane. But instead of clay, I'm gonna use fondant. So I'm gonna roll and layer my fondant into a cane shape. And I'm trying to create an image with this rolled fondant. Then I will take a razor and slice the cane to reveal my design. Now, what shape do I make? I am going to try to make these beads look just like Mel the Lemon. Mel the Lemon is a member of the Cake Gang. She's actually friends with Corey the Apple. She is a yellow lemon with little eyes, a little smile. She's a pretty simple shape. I gotta go simple for my first try on this. I really have no idea what I'm doing. These strips of black and white are going to make up Mel's eyes. And this flat black strip wrapped around the yellow, that's gonna be her smile. It's hard to think of this as like a cross section. Around the two black eyes and the smile, I have to fill it in with yellow. And you have to do it in like these rolled out pieces. If this works, I'm gonna get a lot of beads out of this cane. And that's what I need. I need a lot of beads.
And
The beads will be in the shape of Mel, which I love. I love Mel. Okay, all right, I think I'm finished. My design is literally hidden inside that fondant cane. This is crazy. I have no clue what this is gonna look like. It doesn't look like Mel at all. It looks ridiculous. The smile went all off center and the eyes are not round. This does not look good. Look at all these funky Mels. I can't use these, they do not look like beads. To get all the pieces to stick together, I had to use water. and that made the fondant very sticky. So this time I'm gonna try edible clay. The texture of edible clay makes more sense for this. All right, round 2. Let's try again. For this bead, I'm gonna try something that I think is gonna be a little bit easier. It's not gonna have a face. Placing all the features of a face in a bead, I'm just not there yet. I need more practice. So for this cane, I'm gonna try to make a flower. I can do this. I have a slightly better idea of what I'm doing now, so hopefully this works. All right, my flower bead is prepped. Let's cut it and see how it looks. Hey, that's not too bad. It's not perfect, but I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks more like a bead than Mel did. Yes, I like them. I like them all spread out. They're cute. It's hard to tell what's edible and what's a real bead. These will work. Sorry it didn't work out, Mel.
That's okay.
Now there is one more handmade bead I want to make. There is a bead that I feel has to be included in a friendship bracelet. The letter bead, of course. I have to include letter beads. That way I can have a message on my bracelet. Let's make some handmade letter beads. I'm taking my time to hand paint each letter. I need to keep the letters nice and small and also as clean as I can get them. I want them to look like they were made by a machine even though I'm making them by hand. And then I use my piping tip to punch out each bead. What am I gonna have my bracelet say? What would you have your bracelet say? These letter beads are actually kind of working out. They're not nearly as difficult as the previous handmade beads, which is a relief. So now I have an array of sprinkle beads and an array of handmade beads. We gotta go back to the bead box. Now I'm going to add cake to the center of the bead box. I'm leaving a little gap between the edges of the bead box and the cake because I want to fill that with beads. I'm placing the gelatin dividers into the cake, and now I can add all my beautiful edible beads. Oh, we're off to a bad start. The beads are leaking into the other sections. The gelatin isn't holding up. I'm just gonna try my best to fill each of the cavities with its own beads. I'm doing the best I can. Hopefully I can get these beads to stay. Now I'm going to use my edible beads to make a bracelet. For this first bracelet, I want it to be 100% edible, including the string. The string is made of fondant, so it is super fragile. I'm not gonna be able to wear this one, but I really love the idea that it's all edible. So we can have it laying out, it can still hang out. I just can't put it on. That's okay though. I'm gonna make some I can wear. I gotta very gently thread those beads on. And it's not because the beads are fragile as much as that string. It can so easily break. Then I gotta start over. I can't believe this is working. I totally thought the fondant would fall apart, but it's holding up. I'm poking a hole in my flower beads, and since they're made of edible clay, I can actually poke a hole in it. Much softer than those sprinkles. We got it on there. I can't believe this is working. I want to include a few of the round silver beads, but since I can't use the sprinkles, I gotta make them by hand. But I only want a few, so it's not too bad. Now my next bracelet, I'm gonna wear. So instead of using a fondant string, I'm using dental floss. This very much feels like a candy necklace. Threading the beads on a piece of floss is hard. So I'm threading it through a needle. This should be much easier, except for that one, that silver bead, it fell apart. Okay, this one's working. What should I have my edible wearable bracelet say? All right, we're getting close to the end. I really hope I can wear these bracelets. And there you have it, a friendship bracelet themed cake. I really think that all these sprinkles look like beads, even the handmade ones. It's crazy that this is all edible, you can eat them all. The bead box didn't work out exactly as planned, but I still think it looks all right. Now, before we cut this cake, I gotta try on my bracelets. Let's see if they truly are wearable and edible. Oh yeah, these are actually really cute. Honestly, I wouldn't know they were edible if I didn't know they were edible. They really are holding up. They're not melting or anything. Got my edible jewelry. All right, let's cut the cake. Oh my god, this is a mess. I love it. If you like this video, and subscribe to my channel. I've got a really fun cake coming up. You guys are gonna love it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And I'll see you next time for another cake.